But then these feelings in the heart of Hazrat Umar had such a profound effect that the believers are so firm on their deen, no matter what. They're not prepared to denounce this deen, no matter what torture they go through. But then he was also sad about what was going on, the disunity that had come up in Makkah. So one day there was a discussion in the parliament that who's going to end off Muhammad ﷺ? We can't take it anymore. And Hazrat Umar now, because of this confusion, he said, I have to stop this conflict. And he gets up, sword in hand, and he's charging towards where he can find Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam to end our beloved off sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he didn't know where. He didn't know it was Darul Arqam. So he's still trying. He heard information that it's somewhere there and he's en route. And then the Sahabi Hazrat Nu'aym sees him. Umar, where are you off to? And Nu'aym comes from the same family. He says, I am going to end off Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I can't take it anymore. There's too much of confusion here. I have to finish him off once and for all. Ya Allah. Just then Nu'aym says, لَقَدْ غَرَّتْكَ نَفْسُكَ يَا عُمَرْ. You're being beguiled. Your soul is tricking you. You're becoming arrogant and haughty. Here Hazrat Nu'aym now, who was concealing his deen all along, now had to come out in the open to defend and protect Rasulullah ﷺ. Who you think you are, Umar? Why don't you start in your own home first? He says, what you mean? He says, your brother-in-law and your sister. He says, what? He turns his gait and his march and his charge in the direction of his sister's home. And as he approaches, Hazrat Umar had that certain gait that could be heard. His glory and his step and his power. And as they were learning the Quran, Hazrat Khabbab was teaching them, Hazrat Sa'id. And in this, Hazrat Umar then bangs the door. Hazrat Fatima conceals the scriptures of the Quran under her to protect it. This is not permissible in normal circumstances unless one is protecting the Quran Kareem, and then it is required. And in that, Allahu Akbar, Hazrat Umar then comes in and there was an ordeal. He starts attacking his brother-in-law and his sister defends and she gets hurt. And then she says to him, Umar, you can do what you like. We will never stop the truth. We'll die on Iman. And this also shocked him. But when he saw droplets of blood on his sister, he softened. He says, okay, show me what you were reading. He says, this is never. She feared that he might tear the scriptures of the Quran Kareem. He promised not to do so. Then she said, you should wash yourself first. لا يمسه إلا المطهرون. He washes. He comes. He sits. And he reads these verses, Ya Allah, Taha, A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, Taha, Ma anzalna alayka al-Qur'ana litashqa, illa tadhkiratan liman yakhsha, tanzilan mimman khalaqa al-arda was-samawati al-ula, ar-Rahmanu ala al-arshi istawa. And he reads, he was so inspired. He says, Dulluni ala Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Take me to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Khabbab, who had concealed in a closet, came out giving glad tidings, saying, Oh Umar, just yesterday Allah's Nabi made dua for you. Allahu Akbar. The effect of the du'as of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And something else we learn, non-Muslims who we associate with and interact with, invite them to Islam and make dua for their hidayat. If they are living non-Muslims, we can still make dua for their hidayat. And where is, Allahu Akbar, Hazrat Umar taken? He doesn't know. He is now taken to Darul Arqam. Now outside Darul Arqam, when the door is knocked, another Sahabi comes out to see. From the crevice, he notices Umar and his sword was hanging. The Sahabi gets worried. He comes to mention this inside the house where Rasulullah ﷺ was, which is Darul Arqam. The house was quite deep. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam discussed with Sahaba. Hazrat Hamza said, let him come. If he comes for goodness, it's for him also. This goodness of Islam is for everyone, no matter who wants it. Allah will give it to them. But if he doesn't want goodness, we'll sort him out with his own sword. And interestingly, just 3 days prior, Hazrat Hamza embraced Islam, and also there at Darul Arqam. And then Rasulullah ﷺ comes out to see Umar, and Allah's beloved grabs the collar of Umar and says, Umar, Are you not prepared to stop your haughtiness? When will you come unto the truth? You want Allah to punish you? And Hazrat Umar emotionally says, oh Allah's Nabi, it's clear to me. I want the truth. The beloved of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam calls out the takbir, Allahu Akbar. The Sahaba in the ta'lim in Darul Arqam noticed from there and recited the takbir, Allahu Akbar. It had such an impact. It resounded in Makkah. From the time of Hazrat Umar's Iman in Darul Arqam, it had such an impact. From there onward, Darul Arqam was known because Sahaba were now practicing Allah's deen openly through the barakat of the Iman of Hazrat Umar.